Rain poured over Seattle without pause, as if the sky had been holding it in for months. Emma stood by the window of their small second-floor apartment, watching how the world outside blurred into one grey mass: rooftops, drops, clouds, her thoughts. In the kitchen, something clattered. Jake was rummaging through the cabinets, looking for coffee. He did it every morning, angry, tired, as if the missing beans were responsible for everything that had gone wrong. "Found it?" she asked without turning around. "No. Because you moved it again," he grumbled. "I just put it away." "You just love controlling everything, huh? Even what's already falling apart." Emma bit her lip but said nothing. Lately, any conversation between them ended the same way: silence and resentment. 2 years ago, he used to say he'd do anything for her, that if anything happened, he'd save her. Back then, it sounded like a promise. Then came the diagnosis. Not terminal, but serious enough to turn life into a waiting room. He stayed, but something in him broke. When she talked about doctor visits, he nodded without looking up from his phone. When she cried from pain, he said she had to stay positive. At night, he slept on the couch, saying he needed rest for work. One rainy Friday, Jake suddenly said they should get away for the weekend. "I bought tickets for the ferry," he told her. "Fresh air will do you good. We both need a break." Emma hesitated. But maybe, just maybe, he was trying to fix what was left. She said yes. The ferry was cold and loud, waves slapping the sides, wind whipping people's faces. Emma stood by the railing, staring at the black water below. Jake smoked a cigarette, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "Do you think we can make it?" she asked quietly. He frowned. "Make what?" "Us. Me. This life." He didn't answer. She turned to him, her voice trembling. "When I was scared I'd die, you said you'd save me. You remember?" He sighed, blowing out smoke. "Don't start this now. I'm doing everything I can." "Really? You barely even look at me anymore." "Because I'm tired, Emma. Tired of hospitals, bills, fear, tired of pretending everything's okay." "And I'm not tired," she shot back. "I'm the one who's sick, Jake. But at least I'm still fighting." He turned away, muttering, "I'm only human, not some damn superhero." She laughed, bitterly, quietly. "No, Jake. You're just a coward." He spun around. "What did you say?" "Nothing. Forget it. You'll never understand." The wind picked up, a deep metallic groan came from below. The ferry jerked hard. Someone screamed. A child started crying. Emma grabbed the railing, knuckles white. "Jake." Another hit, and the deck tilted. Water splashed over their feet. The alarms went off. "Come on," Jake shouted, pulling her toward the stairs. "We have to get to the upper deck." They pushed through the panicking crowd. Water rushed in from below. Emma slipped, her hand sliding out of his grip. "Jake, don't let go." He looked down at her, eyes wide, not with love, but pure fear. For a second, he froze. Then, without warning, he tore his arm free. "Hold on," he shouted, and pushed her toward the railing. "I'll get help." "Jake." But he was already climbing up, shoving past people, stepping over someone's bag. He didn't look back. The next wave hit hard, slamming her against the wall. She gasped for air, choking on salt and panic. Then, strong hands grabbed her. "Stay with me, a man's voice yelled. He was wearing a bright orange life jacket, soaked to the bone, his face pale but determined. He pulled her up the stairs, dragging her out of the flood. Half an hour later, the ferry was being towed back to shore. Emma sat on the cold floor of the upper deck, shaking uncontrollably. And then she saw Jake, standing by the wall, dry, calm, holding his jacket. He noticed her, walked over, crouched beside her. "You're alive," he whispered. "I was so scared. I was looking everywhere for you." "I saw you," she interrupted softly. "You ran. You didn't even look back." "I was getting help." "No," she said, her voice trembling. "You were saving yourself." He lowered his eyes. "I panicked. Anyone would have panicked. Anyone maybe, but not the person who promised to stay." He tried to take her hand, but she pulled it away. "Go, Jake." He didn't argue. He just stood there, helpless. And for the first time, she realized, she wasn't angry, just done. A week later, she came home alone. The apartment felt quiet, like a memory of something that used to be alive. Jake kept texting, long messages, apologies, excuses. "You don't understand," he wrote. "I was trying to save you." She typed one short reply. "You only saved yourself." 3 months passed. Emma walked every day along the waterfront, breathing in the salt and wind, learning to exist again. And one morning, she saw him, the man who'd saved her. He was drinking coffee by the pier, wearing that same bright jacket. When he noticed her, he smiled. "Good to see you alive, m." "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved my life that day." He shrugged. "Just did what anyone should do." She smiled. "That's what love really means, you know, doing what you should, even when no one's watching." They stood side by side, watching the grey waves roll in. Then he left, and she stayed. She finally understood. Love isn't words or promises. It's not someone saying, "I'll save you." It's someone who stays when everything is falling apart. That night Jake called again. "Emma, please. I've changed. I get it now. Give me another chance." "No," she said quietly. "I'm the one who changed." She hung up, looked out the window. Rain was falling again, endless, steady, calm. But this time, it didn't scare her. Because for the first time in years, Emma didn't feel like she was drowning. She had finally saved herself.